Hey everybody, it's Erica Williams from the Classy Climb blog. I get to show you a special house hacking host here, a super host. This is my friend Kendra Barnes from the Key Resource. Today we want to let her kind of tell us how house hacking works and how she became a super host and give us a beautiful tour of her house. So I'm trying to find out what makes Kendra a super host. And like, what makes you decide to even do Airbnb out of your own house?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. I mean, this house has a lot of space just for me and my husband. So we were like, let's rent out a room. Like, we have all this space and we love hosting. Like, I just love being able to provide like a inexpensive but really chic space for people to stay. So, but being a super host is determined by your reviews. So you have to get a certain number of 5-star reviews, like back to back, in order to be determined as super host.
So she's gonna show us here one of the rooms she has that she Airbnbs out, and like we're gonna see some of the nice amenities she put in there for her guests.
So whenever you are deciding to host on Airbnb, it's really important to create an experience that you would like if you were traveling. So for me, when I travel, I like bottled water, I like coffee, you know, and granola bars, snacks, things like that. So I created like this little coffee bar here, snacks, a wine opener, some coffee, a water heater. We also have like a space heater over there. It's a Dyson, so it's like space heater / AC, you know, depending on the person's comfort level. We have some games, DVDs, you know, just kind of take it one step further than your average like hotel stay, and at a really affordable price. So
all these things are complimentary things. So they get the water, they get the, it looks like, what is that over there? What is that called?
The steamer?
It's a steamer. So she has this room decked out. This is a legit hotel stay. You've got the coffee.
Yeah.
You got, is that a water kettle?
Your water kettle in case you want to make some tea.
Okay.
You got some sugar, some creamer. Oh, and there's a fireplace.
Fireplace is a turnkey, right? You just electric.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
no,
Or gas.
That's gas.
Okay,
Yes.
we're in Texas, so you guys know gas.
Yeah.
And out the window, they have a really great view. They got a patio space out here they can see.
Yeah.
I like this. I like this.
So it's a room that we weren't using, and it's like, why not make some money off of, you know, some money off of it.
So they have their own bathroom, correct?
Yeah, so these, in this room, they have their own bathroom, but if you do rent a room out in your house, you can make it so that they share a bathroom.
Okay.
But yeah, so this is the bathroom.
With the garden tub. Definitely check this out.
Tub, double sinks. We provide, you know, like lotion, soap, shampoo. I've been to Airbnbs where none of that is provided. You have to bring your own everything. But we, you know, we just like to make our guests have like a stress-free experience. So
yeah, I think it's really important to have your own bathrooms. They've got a garden tub. They've got a shower. They've got almost looks like private access, but they probably come through that front door.
yeah, through the front door. And our guests, they usually are like, they keep to themselves. So we haven't had any issues. No weird, well, maybe one kind of weirdo, but we've never had any incidents. So it's super cool, yeah.
So do you feel like you'll do house hacking in the future, or Airbnb continue?
Yeah, definitely. So we did Airbnb when we lived in DC, and so we did Airbnb when we lived in DC, and on that property, we did not live in the property. It was a rental property. We strictly did Airbnb out of it. But this is our first time renting a room out in our house, and it's been pretty cool. Like, people, like I said, they keep to themselves. It's probably something we'll do in the future.
Okay, and so like your kind of claim to fame is the DC house though, right? Like the DC house stayed rented out like all the time because it's DC. Was this like during Obama?
No, well, we started it, after, I guess 2014 or 15. But because DC is like such a touristy place, it's always, you know, need for places to stay. We were kind of concerned about being out here, we're in, you know, in Fort Worth, and it's not like really a central area, you know, because you drove like so long to get here. But people come out here for conferences, there's a lake, you know, they come out here to kind of enjoy.
Want to see Texas. They want to see their family members that maybe live out here. So I think that's good.
Yeah.
Some other things, as you've done your real estate journey, is house hacking something that most people could get started with, or something they can consider later?
So I think house hacking is a great way to get started. And the crazy thing is, like, this renting out a room in your house isn't necessarily house hacking. It's kind of like hacking the hack. So house hacking, for those of you who are interested, I know it kind of sounds shady, like hacking, but it's not illegal. It's just the terminology. But it's basically when you buy a multi-unit property and you live in one unit and you rent out the others. But if you live in an area where you cannot find multi-unit properties, you can consider renting out a room in your house. So it's just kind of a way to like live, rent-free or mortgage-free. You basically have tenants paying your mortgage off. You're living in the property too. So if you live in a place where there are no multi-units, consider renting out your basement, consider renting out a room in your house. Maybe there's a guest house in your backyard that you can rent out. So it's kind of like a hack to the hack. So yeah.
So I think in the current economy, it's been popular. It's been big on Bigger Pockets. HGTV even has a show where they convert basements to apartments.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this is a big part of the economy that people are sleeping on, and it's not scary. So Kendra, thank you for showing us your house. I mean, we really appreciate it, but we'd love to sit down more with you and talk about first-time home buyer programs or how people can get started with house hacking with Airbnb.
Awesome. All right.
Let's go check it out. So, hey, Kendra, thank you for showing us your house. I really appreciate it. I think it's really important for the audience to know about first-time home buyer programs, and part of the reason you even created the Key Resource, right? Because you're the creator of the Key Resource. And what's that whole title and logo about?
So, well, it's interesting. I created the Key Resource because I kind of wanted to demystify the real estate process, like home ownership, real estate investing. Because when I started, I didn't have any guidance, and I want people to learn from my mistakes, right? But the Key Resource, it's basically, keys, home ownership, and a resource for people who want to get into home ownership and real estate investing. But the word key is, an acronym like knowledge empowers you. So KEY, knowledge empowers you. So there's kind of like a hidden message.
I like that.
Key Resource. Yeah.
I like that. And I think in this climate economically, people really rent is going through the roof. The man rent too high kind of thing. I think home ownership is a great way for people to be able to have some control over their expenses and their income. So their income coming in, their expenses going out.
Yeah.
So what are some of the first time home buyer programs that you know of?
So there are tons and tons of programs out there, but if people are looking for first time home buyer programs, there are two different kinds, and I don't think people are really understand that there are some that are grants and some that are deferred loans. So grants you never have to pay back, but deferred loans might say, we'll give you $5,000 towards your down payment, and in 5 years, then you can start paying it back. But until then, it's not accruing any interest, right? Some will say, okay, well, here's $5,000 towards your down payment, and as long as you live in the home for 5 years, you never have to pay it back. But if you move, then you do.
Right.
So there's so many different things out there. There are no down payment programs like NACA. There's the BBVA Compass Home Program. There's the USDA program. There's another one called Home Ready.
Yeah.
So there's tons of programs. Just make sure that people know to find a program that aligns with their goals, because there's tons of opportunities out there.
For sure. And one of the things I think is so important is some people are like, my city's so expensive, but even in Austin, Texas, where I live, they have a home owner down payment assistance program. And many other cities do too, because they know the cost is rising. I remember when it was only like 11 grand, now it's 20 grand in Austin. So that's a really high amount you can actually get.
Exactly.
And I think it was originally started, if you make on-time payments for 12 months, we'll verify this in the links, but on-time payments for 12 months, it actually is a loan forgiveness program they're working on. So people don't have to pay it back at all. So
and a lot of times you can layer these different programs. You can use more than one. I know someone who got like over $80,000 in down payment assistance. And she ended up getting money back at closing. Like they literally cut her a check.
I need those programs in my life now. I think it's really important that people be not afraid, but be at least aware of their options. And that's the best part of like your website and where people can go and get information. So what are some things people can download from your site, or do they come on your site? What do they do?
So like we were talking about the down payment assistance programs, basically I have them broken down by state. I have like 12 states. If someone doesn't see their state, they can message me and I can create one. But it has like 4 pages of different grants and down payment programs they can use that are state level and national. So that's on my site. But also there's this really cool program. I know we were talking about Airbnb earlier. You guys saw my Airbnb. There's this program in Seattle and Portland, and basically because houses there are like $500,000 and up, and it's really hard for millennials to afford a down payment on a $500,000 house. Straight out of college, you have student loans, and so what this company has done is they've made it possible for if you're buying a house, first time home buyer, you can rent out a room in your house on Airbnb. They'll cover your down payment, and they'll basically take a small percentage of your Airbnb earnings to pay the down payment back.
That's
So
nice.
you're getting in a house, no down payment, you rent a room out on Airbnb, and then they'll basically take like, I think it's 30% or something of your earnings and just pay it back over time.
I like that.
So
That's
it's really
program.
cool, yeah.
Seattle's a unique area anyway, though.
Yeah.
They got a lot of cool things on the West Coast. I think Airbnb, you're going to see more of it. You're going to see more programs like it, or what would we call Airbnb per se? Would we call it
home sharing.
Home sharing. There you go. There's going to be more home sharing apps that come up in the future, and I'm excited for it. I think it works for millennials. It works for people who travel, who do conferences. There's just a lot of reasons why someone would go do an Airbnb. I've even seen people say, I'm going to do a staycation, where they stay in their own city, right? And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But they do something different for the weekend. And so I think that's cool. I think it works really well. So Kendra, you have a 4-unit in Northeast DC.
Yep.
So is that your first house hacking property?
Yeah, it was our very first house hack. We actually bought a duplex before that, and we probably should have house hacked on that one, but I didn't really know about it and I didn't understand the value. So we bought the duplex, put a lot of money down, because if you're buying a property that you're not living in, you have to put 25% down if you're getting a mortgage. So we put tons of money down, but on the 4-unit, we actually house hacked and used an FHA loan. So FHA loans, they're really awesome for house hacking because you only have to put like 3.5% down.
So you guys put 3.5% down on the 4-unit?
On the 4-unit.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and with the way like DC rents are set up, we pretty much paid that back in a few months. So we were able to take just a small amount of our cash, get this, property with lots of value, equity already in it. We lived in one unit, we rented out the other. So that's like one of the biggest benefits of house hacking. You're living for free. You're living in a space where your tenants are paying your mortgage. It can be a little interesting though, because you're literally living in a building with your tenants.
Right.
And so I know some people who house hack and they don't tell the tenants they're the owner, or they say they're like the property manager. We let our tenants know because it was occupied when we bought it. And so we went and saw the units. Like, we were prospective buyers and they saw us, and then we ended up buying it.
Gig was up.
Yeah, so we couldn't pretend, but it was fine. It was definitely worth it. So when you're using an FHA loan, you have to live in the property for 1 year.
Okay.
So
FHA loan, you have to live in the property 1 year. Okay.
That's one of the requirements. Once the year is up, then you can move.
So something I've been telling the people on the channel a lot is, a lot of my friends have used the technique of USDA loans or FHA loans to move far out and then move back into the city. So now they have a rental, and now they have their next property, they have other options. I think it's one of the most, I'm not gonna say the easiest ways to wealth, but I would say a really convenient way to manage how much your rent's gonna be, which is your mortgage, and then be able to move on to another property. Because 1 year goes by pretty fast.
It did. It went by really quickly. And I would encourage people, like I said, we bought the 4-unit and it had tenants in 3 units already. The one that we lived in was empty. A lot of people get really nervous when they're like looking at an occupied property, but there's nothing wrong with buying an occupied rental as long as you do your due diligence. Like I said, we get the rent roll, we talk to the tenants, we, talk to neighbors and stuff like that. So it can be pretty cool because you can buy an already cash flowing property.
Okay.
The one issue you could run into is that you're buying someone else's problem. So that could be really tough, especially in a place like DC where it's very tenant friendly. So yeah, you just gotta be prepared.
And what's a tenant friendly state? What does that mean?
So that means that if you ever had to go to court, over a dispute with your tenant, the court would probably rule in the tenant's favor, and it's usually really hard to put tenants out. So there's all these stipulations, even if the tenant isn't paying for months and months on end. It can be really hard to put tenants out.
Interesting. So that's something that's unique to DC and a few other states, right?
A few other states,
Chicago. Okay, sure. With that move, you still could have put the property with a property manager, correct?
Oh, yeah. We just decided to self-manage.
Well, that's really good. Thank you for giving us this insight on house hacking and government loans. I like it.
It's awesome.
So again, where can people find you?
So at thekeyresource.info or just on Instagram at thekeyresource. The link in my bio has everything there.
Cool. I like it. So thank you again, Kendra.
Thanks.